Alright, guys, continuing on with the Traces of Death franchise, we are moving on to the 1995 sequel, Traces of Death 3 Dead and Buried. Um, I've taken a break from the franchise for a while. I mean, I'd reviewed the first two films, and I made them private for a while, but then I decided to make it public again. So now you guys can go back and watch those videos. Um, but we're moving on here to the third installment in the franchise. Um, and the first two were narrated by Damon Fox. Moving on here, we have Darren Ramage, who plays his character Brain Damage. And of course, he is the guy that owns Brain Damage Films. He narrated parts 3 to 5. So, it starts off with this film. And basically, I mean, right away, the intro to this. I mean, the intro to this film, I think, is awesome. Absolutely freaking awesome. He plays his character Brain Damage. He's sort of looking back, like this, and he says that he's pieced together for you the most brutal, vile, acts of inhumane atrocities ever captured on video and stuff. And basically, he goes over the different bands, the different songs you're gonna hear and stuff, and as far as the soundtrack for this goes, there is Purge, Sinister, Meshuggah, Brutality, Dead World, Dismembered, Deceased, Gorefest, Core, Macabre, Benediction, Hypocrisy, Incantation, and Repulsion, which is the different ones on here. Different bands, I'm assuming. And I don't think I've heard of any of those bands, but he goes over those, and then and then he says, keep your eyes and ears open and let the carnage continue. And then the film starts from there. I will say Traces of Death does a pretty good job when it comes to keeping the different types of scenes in like order. Like you'll have suicides in one part, then your car accidents, auto accidents and stuff like that. So, because most Mondo films don't really do a good job of keeping it in order. So, Traces does a good job. There's not much to say. I mean, it's basically the same thing as the first two films. The soundtrack is done by Relapse Records, and I think the second film, the music was done by Century Media. I don't even think it even says it on here. The music was done by Century Media when I did my uh, research for these films. And then the first one was just cheap public domain horror music. Um, but So we'll just go over some of the scenes. Graphic warning and spoiler warning. Like I said, click off of it if you don't want to hear, some of the stuff that's in this. But now spoilers. You get footage of, tribes and stuff like that. There's like the first film, there is animal stuff in this. There is slaughterhouse footage. There's a cow that gets there. You see footage of like a cow getting slaughtered. There's a scene where I think it's a tribe or something. They cut a camel up to they cut a camel to pieces, like slaughter it, and they cut it all to shreds. And and this part's pretty gross. They drank. I mean, I don't know how you describe it. It's pretty nasty. Um, there's a scene where a fox is thrown into a pit of these hungry dogs, and they tear the fox to shreds. Absolutely tear it to shreds. There is the so I mentioned tribes earlier and stuff like that. There's scenes in Africa where there's boys and girls. They get um, turned into men and women respectively. So the boys get circumcised, and yeah, that's about as far as I'm gonna get. I don't really want to go into that because that wasn't my cup of tea to watch at all. Um, it does have, you do have auto accidents and motorcycle accidents and stuff of that nature. I don't know, I don't remember. It's been a while since I've seen this, so um, you do get in here. I mean, the soundtrack's pretty kick-ass. I will say that. It is pretty kick-ass in here. There are some pictures, graphic photos in here too. There's one of like a mutilated eye. It's just like the eye. It's like mutilated and stuff. So there's that. Um, so there's a lot of footage in Africa and stuff of tribes. There's also dolphins getting slaughtered, and that's pretty hard to watch. Um, you do get autopsy footage. I don't remember the autopsy scenes in this especially, but I think it's some of the same stuff like in the first two films. But so I mean, it is what it is. And then at the end, the film ends with Brain Damage talking about, where you could buy the soundtracks because they did. Relapse Records did put out soundtracks for these films on CD, so that's pretty cool. But then and that's basically it. I mean, there's not a whole lot to this. There's not a whole lot to the film itself. Again, it's more of the same. But I do like the intro. The intro itself is very cool. Although I do need to mention it's the same like warning, like text scroll as in like in part two. The extreme warning how it just scrolls and then vice versa. And it does have the title sequence, the blood dripping down and stuff of that nature. So as far as special features go, again, it's the full screen presentation like like all these films. There's always going to be bonus footage in here as well. Again, just random footage. There's crime scene photos and stuff like that. Don't remember. Not that it really matters. I mean, it's basically some of the same footage you've seen in the other films. You do get an interview with Darren Ramage, playing his character Brain Damage. He talks about in this interview on here on this DVD how he got the music in here because he was told that the fans told him that that while they would watch this they would play their own music like heavy metal music while they were watching this. So he added the music. He decided to add get all these different bands, their songs, he put them on here. So, it's really interesting. So, that's it for Traces of Death 3. I'm not going to give these films a rating because I obviously can't, because these are shockumentaries. Well, I'm not supposed to give these films a rating. So, but I will get to the other two eventually, the last two installments of the series. So, my first review in a long time as well. So I've just been taking a break from YouTube. I've been busy and vice versa. So, but eventually I'll sit my lazy ass down to get more of these reviews done. So, all right, guys, love y'all. Stay awesome, everyone. Peace.